Am I tripping with them? Did I take mushrooms? Because
Hello, my little hungry goblins. My name is Jay. Welcome to my channel, and this is Fright Night Feast, where Halloween and horror is a lifestyle, and so is yummy food. Guys, I have quite a spread, quite a topic for you today. Let me talk about the food first. Let's get some food action happening. I have 6 pastries, or 5 pastries and a cake slice from a local vegan bakery called Crumbs Bakery in North Carolina, and it is run by a very lovely lady named Kiana Bourne. I hope I said that right. Kiana Bourne. I will link her Instagram below. Her pictures are beautiful, and I got to meet her very briefly at the pop-up market I went to procure these desserts for you. And she is gorgeous and just has her shit together. She had so many different pastries, and it was a very busy market, so I hope she got a lot of business that day. I'm really excited to try this. I've just been really wanting to try some really classy ass pastries, especially when I became vegan. Things like croissants, which are made out of butter, were not available to me, and I really have been dying to try this. So before we take a couple of bites, I am going to tell you what I have here today. So here on this is my left. My far left is a bourbon peach cinnamon roll. Oh my God, guys. Can I just say, peach, summer is not my favorite season. We all know this because I'm a spooky bitch. But my favorite fruit of the summer besides mangoes is peaches. I live in the South, y'all, and peaches are like currency here in the summer. Anyway, and then I've got here a lemon poppy seed cruffin. So I guess it's a crossover between a muffin and a croissant. And then here we've got a blueberry Danish. Guys, I'm so excited. I'm gonna eat the crap out of that one. And then this one I'm very excited for. This is the cherry almond croissant. Oh my God. I saw the picture of it, and it has I saw that it had cherry jam in it, but it also looked like it had marzipan, maybe like almond filling in it. I'm not sure. I'm really excited to sink my teeth into it. And then I've got here a chocolate hazelnut croissant. And I am a big fan, especially before I went vegan, of chocolate croissants. I love croissants in general, but you know. And then here, my loves, I have a lemon blueberry slice of cake. Lemon and blueberry are the most amazing combo. I love everything lemon and blueberry and sugar, desserts, period. So I'm really excited. And before we take a bite, we are going to talk about my feelings on the movie Midsommar, directed by Ari Aster. Ari Aster. We're gonna say it's Ari Aster. I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Anyway, let's take a bite. Oh, before we do, of course, your daily dose of ASMR. I hate it when they do that, when they do like the weird nail thing on the cups. Guys, it's hotter than devil's asshole.
it's hotter than devil's asshole.
In North Carolina today. So I need everything cold. Okay. I want to try this cake first because it's calling to me, and I think it's melting actually. Oh, look at that slice. Oh my God. Okay, sadly, I'm gonna have to save some for my boyfriend because he would eat the crap out of this. But truly, moist cake. Sweet icing, but not too sweet. And if you guys have been with me for a while, you probably know that I hate icing. I hate icing, but this icing is not too sweet. It's almost more like a fresh pastry cream. Very delicious. I thought because there's only a thin line of blueberry jam that I wouldn't be able to like taste it. Tastes like summer, guys. Lemon and blueberry. Oh my god. I don't want to save any. I don't want to share. Okay, we'll come back to that. I've been dying to try this peach bourbon cinnamon roll. Look at it. It's calling my name. It's calling your name. Okay. Very soft cinnamon roll. I haven't gotten too much of the peach yet. I think it's closer to the center, but very tasty so far. Got some cashew milk. This says Raleigh on it. Yay, Raleigh. Okay. I want to try this cruffin because it's lemon poppy seed and they're actually like little rose petals on top. Okay, how do I eat this is what I'm really interested about because there's supposed to be a pastry cream in the middle. Oh, I don't really see pastry. I'm just demolishing this. I'm so sorry. Okay, there's a little bit of pastry cream. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that. It's good. The pastry cream is very lemony. But I would say the croissant on the outside is a bit salty. It may change as I get closer to the center, but I'll come back to that. Let's take a bite of the blueberry Danish. Oh, this looks magical. That's delicious. Somehow I don't have lipstick all over my face. Now, I'm so excited to try this cherry almond Danish croissant. I'm gonna split it right down the middle. Ooh, it's got some almond topping. Oh, yum. That's delicious. I think it's sugared almond paste, otherwise known as marzipan, but in case you didn't know. Cherry and almond. Hell yeah. Okay. I'm only taking bites because I want to get into this topic with you as I eat. Okay. Chocolate hazelnut croissant. Guys, look how delicious this looks. It's got hazelnuts on top with a chocolate drizzle. It's not very chocolatey on the inside. So, got a little bit of chocolate. vegan croissant, you would never know. So props to Kiana. That's super impressive. I would say besides this cruffin, which I'm gonna have to ruminate on that one. Excellent. Super excellent. Okay, Midsommar. Let me take a drink. So Midsommar, I watched recently with my sister and my best friend, and we didn't know what we were expecting. I had purposely stayed away from reading anything about it because I was actually really excited about this movie. It is, like I said, it's directed by Ari Aster, and he was the same director who did Hereditary. And I never talked about Hereditary on this channel, but I am a big fan of Hereditary. When I first saw it, I was a little confused by the ending, but to be honest, as I sat on it, it's amazing. And this is how I felt very similarly about this movie. When I finished the movie, when I walked out, I was like, wow, I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about this movie. And the more I thought about it and I slept on it, I realized, excellent movie. And I have a feeling that this is going to be a very polarizing movie because some people like their thrills and chills sort of straight up. They don't want to think about anything. I respect that. I have certain moods where I'm like that too. But I think that when it's done so well, picking apart a good film is just, there's nothing like it. And I think Ari Aster does that very well. So to get into the movie plot real quick, also there will be spoilers. So if you have not seen it and you want to see it, pause and come back to us. With that being said, the plot of the movie is basically the main girl, her name is Dani, played by Florence Pugh. And in the beginning, you find out she has a bipolar sister named Terry, and Terry had been sending her strange messages all day, and Dani is freaking out. She tells her boyfriend, who you come to find out is kind of a useless jerk at times. She tells her boyfriend, and her boyfriend's like, yeah, but she does this all the time. It's probably nothing. And Dani, being Terry's sister, feels differently about it. She's like, I don't know, this is a really weird one, but maybe you're right. No. Her boyfriend Josh was not freaking right. What Terry ends up doing is killing herself and also killing her parents in the whole scope of things. So what she does is she turns on both cars in their garage while her parents are asleep, tapes them in while feeding a tube, tapes them into their bedroom while feeding a tube into the bedroom so that carbon monoxide can get into the bedroom, and they don't know it, they're asleep, so how could they possibly stop it? And then she feeds another tube directly into her face. Like, she has a gas mask on, and I don't know why I'm getting so tongue-tied right now, but she has a gas mask on, and that's how she ends up killing herself, is that she had fed another tube straight to the gas mask that she was wearing. So all the dark messages that, Dani was receiving earlier from Terry, they were totally founded. Like, they were totally on point as to warning her that something crazy was going to happen. And at the end of the day, Dani ended up losing her entire family. And not to say that things would have been different if she had followed her instinct, but it's just tough. That was a tough situation. And so she goes through all the stages of grieving possible. And a couple months later, she finds herself at a party with her boyfriend Josh, and she's surrounded by Josh's friends, and one of them is a Swedish man named Pelle. Seems like a foreign exchange student or what. Well, they're in college, so he probably is just from Sweden. And they have all decided that they're going to Sweden, Josh and the group of dudes. They invite Dani along as sort of a pity invite. And what their purpose is in Sweden is to witness this once every 90 years festival that Pelle's ancestral home and village puts on. Okay. Gotta pause there because this cinnamon roll is calling to me. Ooh, getting to the middle. The dough is so soft. I could eat that all day long. I'm not getting a very large bourbon taste. Actually, never mind. Take the back. It hits you sort of in the back of your throat. It's very subtle. And if you're not a bourbon drinker, you might not notice. But I used to be a bourbon drinker. I don't drink much these days, but bourbon used to be my jam. Anyway, so Dani decides to go along. I mean, what else does she have to do except, you know, sit in her grief? And she doesn't want to do that. So she goes along with the group of boys to Sweden. And Pele, while they're traveling, oh my God, I need to get it together. While they're traveling, Pele lets Dani know that he's really excited for her to come, especially her. And he had hoped that she would come. So that was strange. They get there and, you know, they're immediately greeted by Pele's friends and family who had also come from abroad and brought over, you know, friends that are not from the ancestral home and community to witness this festival. Well, they're greeted immediately with a whole bunch of psychedelic drugs. I think they're mostly mushrooms. And that's how they start their trip. And, you know, they're settling in, and eventually they witness a part of the ritual that they were not expecting. They witness two older people go up on top of this like cliff, and everyone, including Dani and Josh and the boys, are like looking up, and they witness these two older people fall, like willingly jump down from the cliff to their death in front of them. And it's so graphic, guys. It is not for the faint of heart. Like, I've seen a lot of graphic shit in my life. I love horror, but even I was like, oh, wow. Oh, don't bring your kids to this movie, guys. Oh, I just got a peat. I could eat this peach bun all day. Ooh, hint of bourbon. And one of the older people that jumped off to their death didn't die immediately. He was actually screaming in pain. And one of the people from the community goes up, takes this huge mallet, this huge wooden mallet. It almost looks cartoon-like how big it is. And whacks the elder dude in the face. It was intense. So that happens. Everyone's freaked out. This couple that had come along with someone else in the community, they're not from the community, they got freaked out and they tried to leave, and they eventually went sort of missing. And they just couldn't find them later, and things start to escalate. Things start happening that everyone that's not from the community is freaking out. And Pele, the only Swedish one from that community in Dani's group, is like, listen, we're sorry we didn't prepare you for this. Like, it's just culture. When, you know, people get older here, they choose willingly to give their lives back up to, you know, the earth or nature, whatever it is. And so they're not necessarily convinced, but they're sort of too fascinated to actually leave. Like, they don't feel like they're in any immediate danger after witnessing that terrifying spectacle, but they just decide to stay and stick it out and see what's going on. I forgot to mention too that most of the people in Dani's group are anthropologists, so they're very fascinated about this sort of like hidden commune of Swedish people that just do things like the super old, almost druid-ish way. The cinnamon is good. Well, things start escalating. They're just, I'm trying to think. Dani is just feeling weird. Her relationship with Josh is pretty rocky because Josh is sort of in his own world and is not really paying attention much to Dani. And Dani is still grieving the loss of her family, so she's still feeling really lost. And Pele is trying to comfort her, and you know, he remembers her birthday, but Josh doesn't remember her birthday. And then the other two guys in the group, sorry, her boyfriend's name is Josh. Her boyfriend's name is Christian. Oh, I'm the worst. Another dude in their group is named Josh. So it's Dani, her boyfriend Christian, Pele, the Swedish dude who takes them there, and then Josh and Mark. Well, Josh is an anthropologist, and he is super fascinated by everything that's going on. He is just asking a lot of questions, doing interviews, really living his best anthropologist life. Well, he sees a bunch of like really cool books that is very sacred to the community, and he's asking if he can take pictures, and the priests are like, no freaking way, dude. Well, you can tell by Josh's face that he's gonna go do it later. And then after that initial meeting about the books, Mark accidentally urinates on this ancestral tree that is like very sacred to the community, and they freak out, and it's just a whole thing, and everyone is just mad at Mark. And sorry, this synopsis is getting so convoluted because this is such an intense movie, so many things happen. So let me just sort of fast forward. Mark, the dude who pees on the ancestral tree, he dies because they're so mad at him for peeing on the ancestral tree. They lure him away with a girl who he thought was super hot, and they basically skin him and cut off his penis. So there's that. Josh, the dude who ends up going to take pictures of the sacred books after he's told not to, he is also killed. He is like whacked across the head with a mallet, and it's just instantly dead. Well, not instantly, but definitely a fatal blow for him. Let's get into this cherry croissant, cause I need it. That jam is excellent in there. Cashew milk. Super good. Christian is sort of failing Dani as a boyfriend. He's just not being very supportive and present. And he ends up actually having sex with a girl there because she had taken a liking to him, and she had asked the elders for permission to mate with him because that's how they mate. They have to ask permission from the elders. And sorry, there's a bit on my mouth. And so she got permission. The elders approached him, and basically he agreed. Meanwhile, half the time they're all still taking these mushrooms, so they're all drugged. And mind you, that's part of the craziness of this movie. About half of this movie is just like, well, not half, about a third of this movie is like this really beautiful, trippy kind of landscape. Like, you know, if you can imagine what it's like to take mushrooms and everything sort of like breathing and moving and sort of in a wave, Ari Aster does it very well, where you're like,
am I tripping with them? Did I take mushrooms?
Because it's intense. So Christian ends up having mating in a very strange, almost group, well, not almost, it's group mating ritual. And Dani finds out. Dani actually sees it happen. She peeps through like a little keyhole where they're doing it. And she freaks out. This cherry croissant, so excellent. Also, Dani participates in this dance contest and ends up winning the May Queen. So she's really finding like her place in this community. They've just really accepted her. It kind of hints towards Pele, like sort of maybe he likes her. So she's really finding more comfort and generosity and warmth from the Swedish commune than from her own boyfriend. So when she sees Christian mating with that other girl, that was the last straw for her. She's basically over it. Well, after Christian finishes mating with that other girl, he ends up stumbling upon everyone that went missing while he was staying there. So the couple that like freaked out in the beginning when those two elderly people killed themselves on the cliff, he finds their bodies, and that's freaky for him. And then he also finds the body of Josh. One of his feet is like sticking out in the garden. And then he also finds the body of Mark, who, it's not even his body, honestly. It's mostly just his skin, and it's stuffed with straw. It's a little gruesome, a little kind of intense to look at, but I looked at every bit of that movie because it was kind of hard not to. Watching Ari Aster's movies, now that I've seen Hereditary and Midsommar, is kind of like watching a train wreck in the most amazing, beautiful way. Like, it's so horrifying, but you can't look away. Just no. That's so good. I really want to get to the middle of this Danish. Ooh, thick blueberry jam in there. Sorry guys, my camera stopped recording, so that's cool. I was just in the middle of food-gasming over this thick blueberry jam here. It's amazing. And it's got like sort of a crumb topping in the middle of the jam. Oh my god. My heart is just soaring right now. This is amazing. So Christian finds all the dead bodies. He ends up being captured and drugged. And at the end, Dani has to decide, because it's become apparent that, you know, all the people who had traveled abroad that were originally part of the commune and brought in outsiders, they basically brought in water sacrifices. And Dani only survives because she wins May Queen. Like, they're not going to kill their May Queen. At least in this movie. I don't know about actual, like, pagan rituals and May Queens. And so, as the May Queen, she gets to decide between this one other possible sacrifice and Christian as a possible sacrifice. Crazy enough, she chooses Christian. And so the movie basically ends there. Like, the ending scene is, you know, Dani, like, really understanding that she just chose to kill her boyfriend, and you get to see like all the people who got chosen as sacrifices, who had been killed earlier, burned in this ceremonial burning. And Dani's just realizing like the real consequences of her actions, but then also coming to terms with accepting the fact that she may have found a new place with this commune. And it's just a crazy freaking movie, guys. I know I didn't do well, like, giving a synopsis, but there's too much. And you're going to have to take my word for it. It's incredible. And it is very thought-provoking and very confusing at parts, but it'll clear up once you, like, ruminate on it. This blueberry Danish is amazing. I think I'm going to save the half for Nick, because homeboy deserves it. This cake is amazing. So good. So, my thoughts on the movie and, other things like that. First of all, this movie got, I think, an 82 or an 83 on Rotten Tomatoes. Pretty high ratings for a horror movie. Hereditary was the same way. I think the interesting thing about Ari Aster is that he seems to consistently rate pretty high on Rotten Tomatoes and sort of critic websites, but his audience reception is a little mixed, because his the way he directs things, the way he sort of presents certain images and scenes, and then the overall themes and messages, they're really interesting, borderline troubling, and also very thought-provoking. And a lot of people don't want to think when they watch a movie. So, not judging, I have those moments, but these are definitely more thought-provoking movies. And they're very, very disturbing in a lot of ways, and in very subtle ways. Like, there was a point when the elderly couple, when they jumped off the cliff, and they hit the bottom, like the ravine, and their heads just exploded. That was very graphic. Like, they spared zero images on that part. So, and they even flashed it a few times as that scene was still going on, so it really like seared into your brain. And if you're sensitive about that, I would still say watch the movie, but wait till it comes out on DVD so you can sort of fast forward through that part. But I feel like you're not getting the full Ari Aster experience if you're not willing to sort of wade through a lot of discomfort. And I'm gonna take a bite of this. The jam is really good. This side just seems to have less jam, but this croissant, this cherry almond croissant, is amazing. The other thing that Ari Aster seems to do very, very well is demonstrate emotions, specifically grief, in such a way that needs no like verbal explanations, like no actual talking about it. It's just raw emotions. When I watched Hereditary for the first time, and the mother lost her daughter and she was just sobbing on the floor, it was such an intense scene that sort of dread and grief didn't leave my chest for the whole movie. It just carried through. And it was the same way with Dani when she lost her entire family due to her sister's bipolar disorder and eventual suicide. Her grief was so raw and just, it was unleashed. And it was just a moment in the movie where like the crying and the wailing went on for so long that it made me so uncomfortable and so empathetically sad that it was almost a little unbearable. And it's funny because my best friend went with me and she was like, yeah, I was kind of ready for her to just stop crying already and for the scene to move on. I was like, nah, dude, you're missing the point. You have to go through that incredibly uncomfortable, long, wailing grief scene to really understand that Ari Aster is building on that plot point. And that's what he does. He takes every action in the movie is so purposeful. It's just really interesting. I just want to get to the middle. Is that terrible? So good. So good. There's just something just so intensely trippy about this movie. And now, I'm no prude. I'll just say that. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm not a big fan of super like acid trip scenes with, that are very purposely supposed to imitate drug trips, I guess. But the way Ari Aster did it was so purposeful. Like I really feel like it really did something for the movie, and I actually really loved how he manipulated their mushroom trip into the scenes that they were living in the movie. It was very interesting. And this I read somewhere that this is another movie that is a part of this sort of daytime horror where there are almost no night scenes. If there are, it's sort of irrelevant to the movie, I think. I can't remember specifically, but about 90% of this horror movie was done in the daytime, and it was just as dread-inducing. I lied. I found all the cherry jam. Really good. And I'm going to say that, probably a lot of people are going to be like, is this actually a horror movie? Girl, yes it is. Or, dude, yes it is. Because horror can mean so many different things, but this movie was terrifying in the way that it mostly induced a lot of dread. You didn't know what was going on the whole freaking time. You were so... And I read somewhere that actually a lot of people got disengaged by how long the movie was, and I was like, because y'all weren't paying attention. If you were paying attention to the freaking movie, you wouldn't have noticed how long it was, because I didn't notice that it was over 2 hours long. I was just so engrossed by what the hell is happening in this movie, in this commune. Are people going to die or aren't they? I don't know if I want them to die. I don't know what's happening. And the whole time I was just confused and very scared for what was about to happen. And I just thought that was such an excellent execution of, plot movement and the different atmospheric changes. In a sense, does that make any sense? The atmosphere was just very tense. The whole time you were like, something's gonna happen. And then something would happen, but not what you expected. And it would sort of keep inching towards the climax of the film. And when it finally does, you're like, I mean, I thought I was expecting this, but I don't know that I was. Ari Aster is very good at confusing and scaring you. And he did the same thing in Hereditary, but I think Hereditary was a lot more straightforward and more traditional in the horror movie sense. If you guys have seen the movie The Wicker Man, there was a 1970s version and then there's a Nicolas Cage remake. It is an interesting movie. Very, very similar in terms of like it also explores like sort of a pagan / druid commune that worships old gods that require sacrifices, but it gave me a lot of Wicker Man vibes, and I had a feeling going into it that I would just be confused and wondering what the heck is happening next, and Ari Aster just did an amazing job. I highly recommend that cherry almond croissant. That is my jam. Pun intended. I didn't plan that, I promise. But if I had, pat on back for me. I really love this blueberry Danish, but I want to share it with my boyfriend because he'll enjoy that. I'm still confused about this. I'm going to do something really heinous and just eat the middle. Because I feel like I've just eaten like 16 croissants and I kind of want to change it up. And it's definitely lemony because it's a lemon poppy seed cruffin. I don't know that I dig it. Not my favorite. Not bad. Very good flavors. A little salty on the croissant, but overall the texture is amazing, and I really appreciate sort of the what is the word? The newness of it, the inventiveness of putting a croissant into a muffin sort of shape and then filling it and just being really beautiful for one thing. But I had other things on here that I really loved way more. So, is this a horror movie? To me, definitely. And one more thing, I wanted to just harp on how amazing the main actress, or the main character, Dani, played by the actress Florence Pugh, British actress, did an amazing job. Amazing. And she's got some solid horror chops in the sense that, well, horror / sort of like thriller-esque. I don't know. She was in the movie Malevolent, which is on Netflix. Pretty decent, not the worst, but definitely worth watching. I liked it. Nothing to write home about, I'll say that, but definitely worth a watch. It's pretty good in that way. And then she was also in this movie that I think you can also find on Netflix called Lady Macbeth, which had nothing to do with the actual Shakespeare play. I believe it probably had something to do with it in the underlying motifs of the movie, but it wasn't what I was expecting, and I loved every second of it. Florence Pugh is very good at like delivering really intense emotional moments, and she's just good like that. She was also in Outlaw King, which is not a thriller or horror in any sort of way, but it has Chris Pine. It's amazing. It's so good. Anyway, I really love the movie. I think that you should definitely go and see it. You should definitely also see Hereditary. I'm a big fan of Ari Aster, and I'm really glad that, we're in a time that more horror directors or more directors are getting into horror, because I think it's a genre worth expanding into. Of course, I'm biased, but what can I say? I just think it's there's so many possibilities in this genre, and people don't take advantage of that enough. And I think Ari Aster has just done it so masterfully. People will disagree with me. People have very strong feelings about Ari Aster, but I strongly think that he is doing excellent things, and I can't wait to see more of his stuff. Anyway, guys, I think I'm good. I think this was super delicious, and you should definitely, if you're in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, definitely go check out Kiana and Crumbs Bakery. This cake is amazing. This blueberry danish was amazing. That bourbon peach cinnamon roll, heck yeah, that was so good. The cherry almond croissant, the chocolate hazelnut croissant, I mean, the croissant dough was really good. There just wasn't a whole bunch of chocolate, and I didn't feel like fighting through all the dough for the chocolate. So I'm sure my boyfriend will enjoy that. This lemon cruffin, it's not bad, but not my jam. But 5 out of 6 or 4.5 out of 6. Yeah, pretty good. Really like it. Anyway, guys, thank you for sticking with me through that crazy synopsis of Midsommar. I hope you enjoyed the mukbang, the video, and please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when I'm uploading next. I've got a lot of good stuff coming up, especially since fall is fast approaching. Come on, guys. My season, our spooky season, is upon us soon. So stay tuned, definitely. And guys, my little goblins, I'll see you next time. Bye.